Another Dooley Noted podcast comes to you from the Coach's Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill in Celebration Point. Okay, welcome to another Dooley Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. A little chilly out there today in Gainesville, FLA for March 20th. I mean, come on. We're supposed to have a one-day winter, and that's it, and we're done. But all right, so we have got a lot to do today. We're still working on a couple of guests, but I'll let you know about those. I did want to thank a lot of people. We had our birthday brunch for Karen right next door. That's why I'm pointing this way. If you're listening, you can't see me point, but right next door at the HBC room, and unbelievable job, unbelievable food, unbelievable everything. They did such a great job. I want to give them props, and certainly she had a great time. And I do want to also call out a couple other people. I'm just going to, hey, it's my show. I can say whatever I want, right? Scott Carvalho from Floral Expressions he did an unbelievably nice, she likes lilies, so I got this lily centerpiece. And when I went to pay for it, wouldn't take any money. He just appreciated it. I appreciate things like that. And then also, well, obviously the people that work here, the people that did a great job here, and just all the people that came to her party. And it was all women. We made a rule, all women. No guys screwing it up. But I was able to at least go in there. And Coach Spurrier was able to talk on the phone with her. So it was cool. All right, let us get to our hand-law starting lineup. Which we got a lot to talk about after a crazy, crazy weekend. And of course, the starting lineup, as always, is presented by Hand Law, a Florida law firm which helps clients with government. You can learn more about Hand Law by visiting its website. Man, I got through the Hesser and Kipke the whole way without screwing up. You can learn more about Hand Law by visiting its website at www.hand.law. The firm is available for consultation in Jacksonville. We appreciate Chris Hand. And let's go to number one on the Hand Law starting lineup, which I talk about the clutch gene a lot. And Jared and I were just talking about it. He studied kind of what the clutch gene is. The second part of it was not good, but the first part is pretty amazing. And I mean, there are people that have it and there are people that don't. You know it. You watch games, and you can watch, but I believe in the clutch gene, okay? And I don't know that there's ever been somebody with a better clutch gene than Trinity Thomas. If you watched that the other night, Saturday night, you saw it. It was incredible. I think she's got a shot at Campus USA play of the weekend. I think she's got a shot at that. Just incredible. But that team too. I mean, the bottom line is they won it. I mean, you can't win it with one person. This isn't track. Or really, you can win with one person. I remember FSU won a couple of them. With one guy, he got like 38 points by himself or something, and that was enough to win. Anyway, she's pretty special. That team's pretty special. I hope they didn't peak too early. But I've learned to trust the whole organization over there. They definitely haven't peaked too early. But that was good. That was almost like, hey, it's postseason now. Watch what we're going to do. And so they put up the highest score in the history of the SEC gymnastics meet. And it was beautiful to watch. It was poetry. I got a little misty-eyed thinking about Trinity Thomas. Anyway, we'll talk more about that later. Number two, let's get to the NCAA tournament. And unbelievable upsets all weekend. It's been really good. And I will say this, the NCAA tournament kind of peters down. You know what I mean? It kind of goes like the first Thursday, Friday is just unbelievable. It upsets and it's great. And we're getting to know teams. We didn't even know there was a school at Fairleigh Dickinson. We didn't know they had a team, and stuff like that. And we're all excited, and there's games everywhere, and you feel like you're missing out because you're working. I don't want to work. There's a game on somewhere. And then it kind of weans you on it. And now, like for example, Thursday you have 4 games. Two of them are at two different times. There's no day games. Maybe they could do it in reverse order. Anyway, it's been really exciting so far. Princeton to the Sweet 16. If you had that in your bracket, it's crazy. The run for Fairleigh Dickinson ended at the hands of Florida Atlantic. Kansas loses. Purdue loses. Just unbelievable stuff going on. There's been some stunners. And I mean, everybody's bracket's probably a mess, but somebody's got to have the number one bracket. You ever think about that? No matter, somebody's still got to win. Whether you're in a pool, whether you're, got on ESPN or Yahoo or any of those other places. But it has been a fun tournament. Number 3 on the hand-loss starting lineup, let's talk about the Southeastern Conference. Kentucky is gone, and I'm contemplating whether to buy a Kansas State t-shirt or not. And here's the only reason. My daughter, when I said, hell, I guess I got to buy a Kansas State t-shirt, she goes, you have one. And I said, well, where is it? I can't find it. She goes, I think I have it. She goes, I'll bring it to you. Don't buy another one. I said, all right. So I may not have to. I'll walk around in it, though. And congratulations to Keontae, too. The story is unbelievable about him. But here's the thing about Kentucky, and this is probably what I'm going to talk the most about today. Because I try to contemplate, I watch that team play almost every game all year. Almost every game. Because you know how I like to negative root against them. But I still love watching great athletes and great players. I thought this was an incredibly dangerous team in this tournament because they're so good. They got so much talent. They can beat you with different players and guys doing different things. And I want to give you these stats because I looked them up today. This is Oscar Tshiebwe in 3 games in the NCAA tournament at Kentucky. 3 games. Think about this for a minute. 63 points, 59 rebounds. 63 points, 59 rebounds in 3 games. They're 1-2 in those games. Those numbers do not add up. It's hard to understand. I do think, I heard some guys talking about this, and so I give them credit. I think Jay Billis said this and Kermit Davis. The problem for Cal is he hasn't been able to match up great recruits with great transfer portal guys. He's hit the transfer portal hard, but they haven't always meshed up. And for example, this year's team, if I was going to explain Kentucky basketball to you, I'd say they didn't play enough defense. They just didn't play good defense, in my opinion. But it's just 63 points and 59 rebounds. 1-2. They don't add up at all. In fact, he had in this last game, I think he had 30 and 16. I think I get the numbers right. He had 20, or no, it might have been 25 and 18. He had 30 and 16 when they lost to St. Peter's. And 25 rebounds in their first game against Providence, the 1 win. Cal's not going anywhere. He doesn't want to go anywhere because he's got a deal that's going to pay him for the rest of his life, and he didn't even have to do anything. Okay? They're not going to get rid of him. But it is fun to watch for me, personally. Of course, Alabama, Arkansas, Tennessee get in. Big day for Gator fans. It really was a big day for Gator fans. That'll be number 4 on the hand-loss starting lineup. When Kansas got beat, because, as you know, Florida's the last team to win it back-to-back. There's only been 2 teams in the last 50 years. They did that big graphic, and they showed Duke, what was it, 91, 92, 90, 91, somewhere in there. And then the Florida 06, 07, and you're like, I don't want that to ever change. I want them to have it for the rest of eternity. So we were all rooting against Kansas, I think. But you feel bad for the coaching situation. But that was pretty amazing. That was pretty amazing. All right, and finally, number 5 on the hand-loss starting lineup. I want to just talk quickly about baseball. 1, 2 out of 3, but it feels like it was a year ago because they played, obviously the 2 games on Friday. They started on Thursday, played 2 games on Friday, and it feels like they haven't played in forever. But we'll get to their next games on the Ben Eige, Odell Realty games of the weekend. But baseball took 2 out of 3 from Missouri. That's good. Yeah, I like that. You kind of pooped the bed a little bit in the last game with the relief pitching as well. And the pitching's still a big question. But it's pretty amazing to watch what some of these guys are doing right now. It is about to get really intense, okay? And I said this last week, but it is. FSU Tuesday, national champions over the weekend on the road, all 4 games on the road. You're going to go, oh, and we talked about this with basketball last year where you sit back and you go, oh, now I see what they are. Or you going into it, you say, oh, we're going to find out what they are. And then sometimes you come out of it and you go, I'm still not sure. But it's still fun. We ought to have a good time with it. So, one of my things I'm going to do on the Hesser and Kipke 3 things a little bit later, I want to talk about the years that 2 players are having, and none of them is named Jack Caglione. There you go. There's a teaser for you. Right now, we'll take a break. We'll come back with Coach Spurrier. We'll talk to him about a lot of different things here on another Dooley Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. Hello there, everybody. I'm Pat Dooley, of course, from another Dooley Noted podcast. And this is a great Adam Brewer, and he's just opened up a place here, Adam Brewer To Go. What gave you the idea to do this, to have a to-go place like this?
We really like the fast concept, being able to get the barbecue. Now we have this new online ordering. So before it was a call ahead carry out, quick service. We have like a curbside kind of a deal where everything's ready to go for you. And then we thought, wow, we have a really great dine-in concept, but how can we make this streamlined for the customer and make it easy and accessible for all parts of town?
Adam's Rib Co. To Go. Come on down and enjoy it.
Great food, great atmosphere, a diverse menu, everything made from scratch, plenty of space, and locally owned. These are all the characteristics of a great restaurant, and you can find each and every one of them right here in Gainesville at Ballyhoo Grill. Ballyhoo Grill prepares all of their food fresh every day, from their salad dressing to their award-winning soups. Bring your family and enjoy dinner under the Tim Trebo Tiki Hut while listening to live music. Or if you're running low on time to eat out, they also deliver through Uber Eats, Bite Squad, and Postmates. A Gainesville staple that's been open for over 30 years. Check out Ballyhoo Grill on Facebook or at ballyhoogrill.com.
Things have certainly got a little out of hand lately when it comes to just buying our everyday necessities. Just look at gas, streaming services, and heck, even chicken wings. Well, there is one necessity that shouldn't cost a ton: taking care of yourself and helping fix all the aches and pains in life, and the fine folks at Titan MRI agree. With costs a fraction of what you'd pay at a hospital, you'll not only save money, you'll be taken care of by staff with over 20 years experience. So when you need an MRI, call Titan first, and you can go where your doctors send their families. Now offering CAT scans.
Pat Dooley's Storytime is brought to you by Eastlake Pediatrics. Nobody knows how to provide pediatric health care for little Gators better than Dr. Mike and the other board-certified pediatricians and the pediatric nurse practitioners of Eastlake Pediatrics. They have been providing personalized health care to the children of Pinellas, Pasco, and Hillsborough counties since 2004. And with the recent addition of Dr. Chris, who is also board certified in sports medicine, they are now offering care for youth sports injuries as well. To learn more about Eastlake Pediatrics, call 727-372-6760. And to get to know them better, listen to Dr. Mike and Dr. Carey on their Peds and Pop podcast on multiple platforms.
Is your bank dropping the ball, not playing with heart or skill? Then you need to check out the scouting report on Campus USA Credit Union. That's a 5-star recruit if I've ever seen one. Campus has it all, like great rates and products, friendly service, and smart game plans for you and your money. So why not put some star power in your financial life? Visit campuscu.com or any campus service center today.
Honey, can I recruit you to take the garbage out?
Jeffrey, what are you doing?
Well, I'm joining the band, of course. Since Meldon Law is the official law firm partner of the Florida Gators, I want to help.
Dad, we're litigators. Let's stick to helping people in the courtroom.
Well, can we still hang out and jam a little bit? At Meldon Law, we won't back down.
The games of the week and the games of the weekend every week are brought to you by the Ben Eige team at Odell Realty. Ben Eige graduated from the University of Florida in 1998. He and his team now help Gators find vacation homes in western North Carolina that also double as investment properties. Ben and his team have helped many folks take advantage of the incredible opportunities in mountain homes that also produce amazing returns on investments. Ben Eige and his team at Odell Realty go the extra mile to find properties and evaluate their income potential for their clients. Maybe you've thought of buying a home that can be used as short-term rental via Airbnb or Vrbo, generate income for you, and be a place for your family to vacation. Or you may just be looking for a great way to expand your real estate investment portfolio. I know I am. Visit www.beneige.com/Gators. That's www.beneige.com/Gators and discover what owning your own short-term home can accomplish for you. That's Ben Eige at Odell Realty, licensed real estate broker in North Carolina and proud Gator alum. Visit www.beneige.com/Gators or call 704-201-4264. As the oldest Gator booster club in the world, Gainesville Quarterback Club gives you access to elite speakers like coaches, NCAA football insiders, Gator greats, and more, including yours truly. Share your passion for Gator football with hundreds of other members at weekly in-season meetings, home game tailgates, and special events throughout the year. Join the Gainesville Quarterback Club today. Trial membership until April 11th only, featuring Billy Napier and Tommy Townsend. Email the club at membership@quarterbackclub.org. That's membership@quarterbackclub.org, or call me, and I'll let you get to the right people. All right, welcome back to another Duly Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. And as always, Meldon Law presenting on Mondays, Steve Spurrier. We always love having him on and talking to him. We mentioned we were just out here having Karen's birthday party right over here. And I will say this, people were freaking out about how good the food was. Freaking out about how good it was.
You had that buffet, right?
Yep, they had the buffet.
That's secret to restaurant, obviously, is location, good management, and all that. But I still think number one is the food.
Yeah, me too.
And everybody that comes through, they say, Coach, that food you got there is really good. And I said, that's the number one thing, I think. And, of course, that brings people back.
Yep, absolutely. So it was a great time, and Coach got to talk to Karen, wish her a happy birthday. That was nice. And 60. It's hard to believe she's 60. Hard to believe I'm 68.
Heck, I was reminding her back on my 50th birthday, you and Karen came to my birthday party in the north end zone of the stadium there. We had one. And I think
that was our first date.
Back in 96.
That was our first date, yeah.
Yeah. So I was just 50 back then. So.
Well, I knew I could convince her to do it when I said it was going to be Steve Spurrier's birthday party because she's a big Gator fan. I said, and then she went, "Who's this again?" She didn't care who she was going with. She just wanted to go to that party. But it was a big weekend, a lot of things going on, and the basketball was incredible. All these upsets, a lot of teams knocked out, the Blue Bloods.
You know what? I think the transfer portal and NIL and all that, it's given some of these down the line teams that can't recruit, like Kentucky and Duke and Kansas and all those Blue Bloods, they call them. They can go get some ball players. They can transfer in this, that, and the other. So they're talking about a super job the Kansas State team did.
Yeah.
They got Keontae there, and the team they put together, they were picked like 7th in their conference this year, I think, 7 or 8, something like that. And here they are now in the final 16, and they make and go some distance. I love watching that team play.
They're a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Jerome Pangs does a good job.
Yeah. Their coach does a super job. Some of these coaches are finally getting an opportunity to coach African-American guys, and they do a fantastic job, no question.
No doubt about it, and happy to see that for Keontae. I mean, just think about where we were that day when he collapsed, and I used to remember being numb for a while, and now here he is playing
back.
the Sweet 16. But The Blue Bloods not doing so good, and including Kentucky. You were giving me a quote earlier about, what was it? Kentucky, Duke, Kansas,
UNC, Duke, and
North
UNC.
Carolina.
Yeah, the four blue teams. They're all out of it right now, which is very unusual in college basketball. So it shows how it shifted. Now, will college football shift like that? Will Ohio State and Georgia and Alabama be out of the Final Four? I don't know. It'll be a few years before that happens.
Well, and that's the interesting thing, Steve, is in basketball, you got 13 players and you don't play them all. You play about 8. Maybe.
All you need is about 5 to
Yeah.
7. Yeah, 5 to 7 that can really play.
And then if you can just find the right mix, and I think that, for example, with Kentucky, I think I was talking earlier about this, John Calipari has had a hard time mixing the great recruiting classes and the transfer portal. He's gotten a bunch of them, and you look at them on paper, you go, that's going to be a great team, and they just don't work it out. I'll give you a great stat, okay? This is Oscar Schwebue in 3 tournament games in his career. 63 points, 59 rebounds. They're 1-2 in those games. 63 points and 59 rebounds. What more can you do than that?
Well, score more points than the other team is how you win. We all know that. But it is interesting, and even on the women's side, Ole Miss to upset Stanford was a big one.
Yeah.
South Carolina is still the cream of women's college basketball until somebody beats them. But Ole Miss played South Carolina close this year. I think it was an overtime game.
I remember that game. It went overtime.
The Gamecocks beat them. So they may be destined to meet in the Final Four somewhere. Who knows?
You know, as we watch all these games and big games, you wonder, all right, why do some coaches find a way to win? Why do like Pitino's now being courted by St. John's, and everybody says, well, he'll win there. He got Iona into the tournament. You know, he wins every. Why are some guys just able to win? There can't be a magic formula, but they just find a way to do it.
Well, they built it to inspire your players, put them in position, and sort of breed confidence in your players. That's what all the great coaches, I think, do, and they are usually pretty consistent. You know, you don't win big every year, but you're pretty much up there, close to winning big every year. So that's what, to me, the outstanding coaches really do. Special shout out to Jenny Rowland, our gymnastics team. I think, you know, it was the SEC tournament, and I think we've won 4 of the last 6. Now, regular season, we've won 5 in a row. So, and it's our 12th overall SEC tournament championship.
That's pretty good.
We started way back. So, yeah, and I think we had maybe the highest score of the year.
It was
Our girls were really good.
It was the SEC meet record, and I've been to those things, and they're tough because it's a quad meet, and you got screaming and yelling and going on, and music going on.
Yeah, and Tiffany had several 10s, I think they said, and anyway, the big tournaments are getting ready to start now for the national championship.
Yeah, in fact, let us go do our Campus USA play of the game, play of the weekend, because it was Trinity Thomas who. On the floor exercise, I mean, it's down to this. You know, it comes down to this. If she does well, Florida's going to win the SEC. And again, just amazing. And her, what an athlete she is. I tell you what, I believe in the clutch gene. I don't know if you do or not. I believe that there's some guys who have that, and they have a it factor.
Yeah, she definitely loves the big moment, and all great champions do that, certainly.
Yeah, and she's boy, my knees hurt just watching her do that.
Well, that floor has a little give to it.
It does. It does. Yeah,
a little bounce and so forth. But yeah, she is definitely one of the best athletes to ever come through the University of Florida. No
you know, we were talking about that. I told my wife, I said, you know, I'm glad she's on the team I like. That's all I know. I'm so happy to have her on the team I like. But the bottom line is, you know, if you start ranking the greatest Gator athletes of all time, it's hard. I've done those lists before, but it's hard to come up with how to figure out how do you quantify her with somebody like Tim Tebow or with or Joakim Noah or whatever. They play such different sports, different kinds of athletes.
Something else I heard yesterday on TV, Billy Donovan and our 06-07 back-to-back national championship teams, that's the only one in the last 50 years to go back-to-back.
No, there was two, they said.
Last 50 years?
Yeah, the Dukies in 91. They
really?
did too, yeah.
Oh, okay.
There were two, and those were the only two.
Only two,
yeah.
yeah. Okay.
And that's why I was rooting against Kansas. So,
Yeah, they're not going back-to-back. That's hard to do, certainly. So anyway, did you watch the golf yesterday?
I watched a little bit of it, yeah.
I actually was flipping around, and that Live golf was on one of the down the line
They had a
stations.
playoff, right? Yeah.
Yeah, well, I was back and forth on it. I didn't watch much of it, but it's interesting. And then the tournament down in Innisbrook,
Valspar.
Yeah, it was a good tournament. But what was really interesting about it, they showed Jordan Spieth the whole time. And the other golfer, Shank, was trying to win his first ever. Fleetwood, kid from England. They showed them the whole time. And there was a guy named Taylor Moore that was just calmly about 2 shots back, birdied one of the last 2 holes or something, and finished 10 under that won the tournament. And they very seldom ever showed him.
Really?
They showed him make 1 or 2 putts along the way. But that was interesting that he hung in there and ended up winning the tournament. But
I guess Spieth
competition
missed a
of those,
4-footer. Yeah.
Yeah, it was an interesting article in the paper today about way back in the early 90s. They tried to get a union for the pro golfers.
Right.
And, all the big names, they want this and this, that, and the other. But individual sport, it's tough to have unions. I don't know how tennis does it, but whatever they're doing is pretty much right, I think. They don't have a lot of friction and a new tour trying to start up and so forth. But that Live Tour and our tour, how long will that Live Tour last? Well, they got billions over there in Saudi Arabia, so it could last a long time, I guess.
Yeah, and it's going to get more and more accepted. For me, it's still a little bit of a carnival.
It is.
But I've tried to watch it, and then I hear music, and I'm like, no, it's not golf. But maybe I need to. We all have to evolve,
yeah,
right?
And they're wearing shorts. I said, that's the way we play in the summer.
That's right.
They all got shorts on. It was cold in Tucson yesterday. But anyway, I don't know the end of that, but I don't know. I guess it'll work its way out.
All right, so baseball off to a good
baseball.
2 out of
Coach
3.
O'Sully's got a real good team, and hopefully they can keep on keeping on. And he's the winningest coach in school history here. He topped Coach Fuller's record a while back, and so he's got a good team. I like their attitude so far, and hopefully they can, keep pushing, keep trying to get better as they go through the year.
Yeah, I mean they've got some people that are some players that are playing really well. This is a good comparison. These two are, and I'm not even going to mention Caglione here. Josh Rivera and Skylar Wallace for softball. They're both all right. So Skylar Wallace is hitting .455 with 7 homers and 29 RBI, and has walked 21 times and 16 steals. Rivera's hitting .418 with 10 homers, 35 RBI, 6 steals. I mean, they're having big time years, and you have to have that happen from your best players.
Yeah, and again, momentum is such a big thing in sports. We know last year Tennessee baseball was number 1 in the nation all the way through, and then all of a sudden the tournament started, and they had a couple of bad games, and they were gone. But they did win the regular season, which is something to be proud of, certainly. So that's, you go one thing at a time, win your conference, and then get in the playoffs and try to go one step at a time that way.
I'm going to ask Robbie this question a little bit later today on the show. This has seemed to me to be the quietest spring football practice I've ever.
I told my wife the other day I was looking forward to reading something about spring practice, and somebody said, wait a minute, spring break. I said, oh, that's right, the spring break. So there's nothing in the paper about it, but
yeah, it's just been quiet. There's not been a lot of and I mean that's maybe the way they like it, to keep it that way.
Yeah, there's not been much pizzazz. I don't know how they do the media. Do they do it like they used to, or a little different?
A little different, yeah. They don't. they make the players available, but they pick the players.
After practice-
in the old days, we could just walk with them,
Yeah.
any player we wanted.
After practice, Coach Napier talked to the media, I guess,
Yeah.
most days.
Some days,
Okay.
like twice a week, maybe.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't have to go over there anymore and do that, so.
Yeah.
I got it made, but it's just been kind of quiet. You don't hear a lot of buzz or anything and anticipation. But it's kind of funny. Another story I just did, Steve, is about attendance and how it finally went up this year in college football. It had gone down 8 straight years and finally went up. And of course, COVID had a little bit to do, and had a lot to do with people wanting to get back. But it is interesting to think about what the schedule is going to be like for Florida football next year. Because there's no way to if they go to 9 games in the SEC, there's no way to make 9 easy games. I mean, you're going to play 7 really tough games. You know that at least. And it's going to be tough for these guys.
Yeah, the records are not going to be as good. And so that's something you got to look at. Yeah.
Are you looking forward to seeing that, the college football playoff with next year when we go to 12
teams?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's good, certainly. I wish we'd had it back in the 90s.
Yep.
Because I know we'd been one of the top 12 almost most of the years, not every year, but most of it. So, and then
Pretty much. I'm trying to think when you wouldn't have been. Maybe 90.
Probably 92.
Yeah.
That was the youngest team we had of all of them. But it does give a lot of teams opportunity to get in playoffs. And, man, if you get hot there, you can go win it all. I remember the New York Giants won the Super Bowl one year and had a 9-7 record.
Yep, they did.
And I think that was the year of the helmet catch
Yep.
that Eli threw. And they nipped New England in that one. So, yeah, anything can happen once you get in the playoffs, just like the basketball we're watching now.
Yeah, absolutely. It's fun. It's been a lot of fun. Have you been watching a lot of it?
Yeah, most of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched pretty much all day yesterday, and the golf and so forth, back and forth. It's nice to have 2 TVs. Do you have one
I
at
do
your house
too.
too?
Yeah,
Flip
same
on
deal.
this one, that one.
I've told people you need to have 2
Gotta have 2,
TVs
yeah.
in one room. There's got to be a room where you can go to so you can watch 2 things going on at the same time.
Got to.
Maybe 3. Something. I needed 3 this weekend because there were all these games going on, and you had baseball, and then on Saturday you had gymnastics. I had to watch. I had to watch that too. So, all right, that's good. You got anything else
shout
for us,
out,
Coach?
Coach Walton, our softball ladies are doing well, doing very well. He's the winningest coach here in school history, also, ladies softball.
We should get a picture of you and him and
All the winningest coaches.
all the
in
winningest
school
coaches.
history.
Yeah, because most of them are around here.
Yeah, a lot of them are here now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you got Sully and Walton and
Is Billy Donovan the winningest basketball?
Yeah,
He is
he's-
by far? Okay.
that's not gonna
Have to bring
change.
him back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he can come back. We'll get him.
Yeah.
We'll get him in here one day.
Yeah, that'd be good.
All right, so that's going to do it for our
Okay.
Coach Spurrier segment. Appreciate you being in today, and appreciate this great place. I want to give it a shout out again for hosting my wife's 60th birthday party. It was awesome. Everything was great. We'll be right back with more on another duly noted podcast presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. Hello there, everybody. I'm Pat Dooley, of course, from another duly noted podcast. And this is a great Adam Brewer, and he's just opened up a place here, Adam Brewer To Go. What gave you the idea to do this, to have a to-go place like this?
We really like the fast concept, being able to get the barbecue. Now we have this new online ordering. So before it was a call ahead carry out, quick service. We have like a curbside kind of a deal where everything's ready to go for you. And then we thought, wow, we have a really great dine-in concept, but how can we make this streamlined for the customer and make it easy and accessible for all parts of town?
Adam's Rib Co. To Go. Come on down and enjoy it.
Great food, great atmosphere, a diverse menu, everything made from scratch, plenty of space, and locally owned. These are all the characteristics of a great restaurant, and you can find each and every one of them right here in Gainesville at Ballyhoo Grill. Ballyhoo Grill prepares all of their food fresh every day, from their salad dressing to their award-winning soups. Bring your family and enjoy dinner under the Tim Trebo Tiki Hut while listening to live music. Or if you're running low on time to eat out, they also deliver through Uber Eats, Bite Squad, and Postmates. A Gainesville staple that's been been open for over 30 years. Check out Ballyhoo Grill on Facebook or at ballyhoogrill.com.
Things have certainly got a little out of hand lately when it comes to just buying our everyday necessities. Just look at gas, streaming services, and heck, even chicken wings. Well, there is one necessity that shouldn't cost a ton: taking care of yourself and helping fix all the aches and pains in life, and the fine folks at Titan MRI agree. With costs a fraction of what you'd pay at a hospital, you'll not only save money, you'll be taken care of by staff with over 20 years experience. So when you need an MRI, call Titan first, and you can go where your doctors send their families. Now offering CAT scans.
Pat Dooley Storytime is brought to you by Eastlake Pediatrics. Nobody knows how to provide pediatric health care for little Gators better than Dr. Mike and the other board-certified pediatricians and the pediatric nurse practitioners of Eastlake Pediatrics. They have been providing personalized health care to the children of Pinellas, Pasco, and Hillsborough counties since 2004. And with the recent addition of Dr. Chris, who is also board certified in sports medicine, they are now offering care for youth sports injuries as well. To learn more about Eastlake Pediatrics, call 727-372-6760. And to get to know them better, listen to Dr. Mike and Dr. Carey on their Peds and Pop podcast on multiple platforms.
Is your bank dropping the ball, not playing with heart or skill? Then you need to check out the scouting report on Campus USA Credit Union. That's a 5-star recruit if I've ever seen one. Campus has it all, like great rates and products, friendly service, and smart game plans for you and your money. So why not put some star power in your financial life? Visit campuscu.com or any campus service center today.
Honey, can I recruit you to take the garbage out?
Jeffrey, what are you doing?
Well, I'm joining the band, of course. Since Meldon Law is the official law firm partner of the Florida Gators, I want to help.
Dad, we're litigators. Let's stick to helping people in the courtroom.
Well, can we still hang out and jam a little bit? At Meldon Law, we won't back down.
The games of the week and the games of the weekend every week are brought to you by the Ben Eige team at Odell Realty. Ben Eige graduated from the University of Florida in 1998. He and his team now help Gators find vacation homes in western North Carolina that also double as investment properties. Ben and his team have helped many folks take advantage of the incredible opportunities in mountain homes that also produce amazing returns on investments. Ben Eige and his team at Odell Realty go the extra mile to find properties and evaluate their income potential for their clients. Maybe you've thought of buying a home that can be used as short-term rental via Airbnb or Vrbo, generate income for you, and be a place for your family to vacation. Or you may just be looking for a great way to expand your real estate investment portfolio. I know I am. Visit www.beneige.com/Gators. That's www.beneige.com/Gators and discover what owning your own short-term home can accomplish for you. That's Ben Eige at Odell Realty, licensed real estate broker in North Carolina and proud Gator alum. Visit www.beneige.com/Gators or call 704-201-4264. As the oldest Gator booster club in the world, Gainesville Quarterback Club gives you access to elite speakers like coaches, NCAA football insiders, Gator greats, and more, including yours truly. Share your passion for Gator football with hundreds of other members at weekly in-season meetings, home game tailgates, and special events throughout the year. Join the Gainesville Quarterback Club today. Trial membership until April 11th only, featuring Billy Napier and Tommy Townsend. Email the club at membership@quarterbackclub.org. That's membership@quarterbackclub.org, or call me, and I'll let you get to the right people. Okay, welcome back to another duly noted podcast presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. Quick story, when Coach Spurrier talked to my wife and wished her happy birthday, and he mentioned that our first date was his 50th birthday party. He said, "Do you think Billy Napier's inviting David Whitley over to have a birthday party?" He goes, "I don't think so. We had more fun then." And I go, yeah, we did have a lot of fun then. Typical Steve. Let us bring on the Big Mills Cheesesteak Zoom line, the great Robbie Andreu, who was part of, we were in the ancillary celebration out there by the bar, weren't we, Robbie?
Yeah, that was fun. I think we ruined the brunch for two couples near the bar, though. So.
They were
But
not
that's the way it
happy.
goes, right?
Yeah, well, we tend to do that, but it's happened before.
That's what happens with afternoon drinking.
Yep, and then you went out and watched the Kentucky-Kansas game, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was great, Pat. Negative rooting. And we were cheering for Kansas State, and after the game, these people that were at a table, two older couples came over, and they were Kansas State fans. They were wondering where we were from. And Harry said, we're from Manhattan, Kansas.
He should have said, we're from America.
Yeah,
because
we're from nowhere, basically.
Yeah, basically, that's true, too. All right, it is time for us to play Yes, Nowhere, Maybe with Robbie. We do this every Monday. It is sponsored by Big Mills Cheesesteak. We appreciate Keith Mill over there at Big Mills. If you go in there, you can get free fries with your order by mentioning another duly noted podcast. That's all you have to do. Okay, Robbie, number one. Watching the Kentucky loss was more fun than watching the Kansas loss.
Oh, absolutely, Pat. I mean, I don't like Kansas at all because they're another blue blood that probably cheats in recruiting as well. But, you know the Kentucky feeling, especially when you're around their fans. It's huge when Kentucky loses. That was one of the best games of the year for me, and we had a good time watching it.
Yeah, I mean, but my thing still goes back to I didn't want Kansas to repeat, because Florida is still the last team to repeat, which is cool. But I enjoyed them both. But I can't buy a shirt of the team that beat Kansas because it's Arkansas. I can't wear an SEC shirt.
Yeah.
So
no, you really can't. You can't do that.
No.
All right. What made the Kentucky game? What made the loss so special was Keontae Johnson hitting that big step back three to kind of put the game away. That was so sweet.
That was huge, and happy for him too.
Yeah, me too.
What he's been able to overcome. All right, number two, Robbie. This is the quietest spring football practice ever.
Maybe, Pat. I mean, all of them are pretty quiet, but all you see now are on Twitter, like little 30-second video clips of guys catching a little 10-yard pass to the flat. So there's not a whole lot of news coming out of there, but maybe things will pick up when the spring game gets closer and people start talking about that. But right now it's very quiet, and when you have a spring break in between, it kind of messes things up a little bit.
Yeah, it's an odd schedule. It really is because it started so long ago, and then they're not going to finish till late April 13th. And but not a lot of news. But I've always said, Robbie, that in spring football and in camp, summer football, the best news is no news. You don't want any news to come out.
Yeah, and you definitely don't want any news coming out of the spring break where somebody got in trouble or jumped off a balcony or whatever. So, so they get through that. That's good. But you're right. No news is the best news you can have at this time of year.
Who jumped off a balcony? I don't remember that. Josh Shaw did.
Yeah.
All right. Finally, number three.
These crazy college kids.
Yeah, I know. I've got one. And you're about to have a couple. So
yeah, no question.
Yes, Nowhere, Maybe, brought to you by Big Mills Cheesesteak. Number three, if Florida wins a national championship in gymnastics, they should put a statue of Trinity Thomas out in front of the O-Dome.
I would say yes, Pat. I mean, she is one of the greatest athletes in school history, maybe the greatest. And if she leads into a national title, I think, I would definitely say do that.
I'll lead the march.
She is a special talent, and it's so we're so lucky she came back for this extra year, And
I think people really have enjoyed it too. They've enjoyed it as much as she has,
Yeah.
So. All right, that's going to do it, Robbie, for Yes, Nowhere, Maybe. I will see you tomorrow on the tailgate. You'll be hosting.
Okay, Pat. Looking forward to it.
All right, we'll see you then.
Okay, see you, Pat.
All right, the great Robbie. Jeff's got to go to baseball over in Tallahassee, so those of you who listen to the tailgate. It'll be me and Robbie. A lot of you like it when it's me and Robbie. All right, we need to get to a lot of things now. Let's start with the Leonardos at Millhopper Quick Picks. Kyle Cohen and the great folks over there visited over there the other day. We'll give you one game, and then we'll pull a winner on Friday. All the people who qualified, we'll put you all in a hat. I'll pick a winner. We'll pull a winner on Friday. This is your last chance to qualify then. UCLA minus 1.5 against Gonzaga. That'll be a fun game. That's a late game, too. We'll get you the times in just a minute. But so we'll pull the winner on Friday. We'll have the last contestant to get in. Our Adams Ribco to go Gator of the weekend. I had a lot to choose from. And I decided to go with, look, Trinity Thomas did what she did. And she, I don't want this to be the Trinity Thomas show. But it was, that's the way I felt that night. But I'm giving it to Jenny Rowland because Jenny Rowland not only recruited this team, but has molded it into a team that is going to probably now, I think, might be the favorite, maybe over Oklahoma, even though Oklahoma beat them at a dual meet. That was in Norman. And maybe you're also saying to me, Pat, why do you get so fired up about gymnastics? We want to know about football. I'm sorry, I don't have any football news. Not much has happened in college football and with Florida. But I do love gymnastics. I love to watch. I admire people who can do triple backflips on a 4-inch wide bar. And if they don't hit it, could break their ankle or hit their head. I just, to me, it's like, it's kind of like these shows where people risk their lives and everything, and they do it all the time. It's crazy. So anyway, Jenny Rowland is my Gator of the weekend. She, of course, was on this show just recently. I say recently, but it was before the start of the season. So that's not that recent. Let us get to the games of the weekend brought to you by Ben Eige and Odell Realty. We appreciate Ben Eige and Odell Realty. And we'll start off with tonight. If you're listening to this on Monday, tonight, Florida women in the NIT play at 6 o'clock. It's against Wake Forest. It's only on ACC Plus. If you get that, I'm surprised, but you may not get it. You may not be able to watch it, but I think I might get it. We'll see. I'll flip it on. We'll find out. But that is where the game is being telecast. Tuesday, Florida FSU. 7 o'clock, it's on the ACC network. So you have to get the ACC network. And this is why these great games that you want to watch are on those networks, so you have to buy them. It's just capitalism. That's all it is. Also, we have on softball at Stetson Wednesday, 6 o'clock. You can't watch that anywhere, I don't think. And then let me get to the NCAA games. Thursday, Michigan State, Kansas State, 6:30 TBS. Arkansas, UConn, 7:15 CBS. FAU, Tennessee. Tennessee's going to be in the Final Four, I swear to God. It's going to make me sick. 9 o'clock TBS, and then Gonzaga, UCLA, the game we mentioned before, 9:45 on CBS. So it's all the BSs. No more True TV, I guess, hopefully. I had to find True TV, and then you hate that when you're watching a game on True TV and then you come back later and it's still on. You go, oh God, that show's terrible. So it's not very good. So that is the Ben Eige Odell Realty games of the weekend. Let's get to three things. As always, it is sponsored by Hesser and Kipke, and I like to rotate people around. I know a lot of time we lead off with the Hesser and Kipke three things, but instead, we're going to have it come up now. Hesser and Kipke is a Gainesville law firm specializing in the area of workers' compensation and family law. Ken and Jennifer take great pride in their one-to-one focus on each and every client they represent. Ken is board certified in workers' compensation law by the Florida Bar, while Jennifer possesses extensive jury trial experience with a nearly 20-year background as a prosecutor. Don't believe me? Well, check out their more than 55 five-star Google reviews. Or better yet, give them a call at 352-339-9920. Hesser and Kipke. We love them, and we appreciate them. Three things with Hesser and Kipke. Number one, so after the first 2 days of the tournament, I thought I had a pretty good ballot. Both of my teams that were in the final were still alive. I thought it would be okay. Let me go check where I was on the ESPN. I filled out one ballot. I believe in one ballot. And I went and looked at it, and I was 13 millionth in something. I don't know. I can't tell you the exact 13 million. How could I have been that? It couldn't have been that bad. I don't know how many people got in, but I still might be in the upper 10%. I don't know. 13th millionth. But the problem with filling out these brackets, is that I try to judge what I think I know. Don't use what you think you know. Use what you don't know, and that's the way I need to do it. And I never do it that way. I do what I think I know. Does that make any sense? No. Anyway, I stink at it. I'm terrible at it. I smell. I smell like fish on ice. All right, number 2 on Hesser and Kipke, 3 things. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, so great player in Florida, now going to the Lions as a trade free agent over there. Of course, he was with the Eagles, won a world championship. Good for him. I mean, he's going to get paid a pretty good amount of money. I mean, look, you're loyal to the paycheck, and we root for laundry. Those are the two statements I live by. You're loyal to your paycheck, and you root for laundry. It's just the way the world works. And me personally was on a world champion. I'd have a special bond. You don't have that bond forever. You got to go get the money. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson to the Lions. And finally, Coach spoiled it for me. The Ole Miss beating Stanford was going to be number 3 on Hesser and Kipke. And I've watched a little bit of the women's tournament as well. It is really a problem for them that they can't, the men's tournament just dwarfs it. It's why I don't understand why the XFL was playing right now. The men's tournament is going to dwarf everything they try to do. But it certainly was good. We need more of those. We need more Ole Miss beating Stanford, knocking off a 1 seed in the women's sport. I like to watch women's basketball, but it's always the same teams. It's the 1 seeds playing in the end. This is good. I'd like to see South Carolina and all these other teams get knocked off. I used to root against UConn. And actually, Gino Auriemma was a really nice guy to me when I was up there covering a game. Really nice guy. He did ask about Aaron Hernandez, though. But anyway, it's got to be like the men's tournament where you don't know who's going to get there. And, man, if you had Princeton in your Sweet 16, you probably went to Princeton. And congratulations on that. That is our Hesser and Kipke, 3 things. Let us get to Pat Dooley's story time. And I'm going to tell this story, and it's not a good story for me because it makes me look like a homer. So 2007, Florida plays Jackson State. By the way, brought to you by Eastlake Pediatrics. We appreciate them. Sponsors of the Bob Dooley Invitational. One of the many sponsors. We appreciate them. So 2007, Florida's playing in New Orleans in the NCAA tournament. They just swept through the SEC tournament, did not trail in the entire tournament, not even 2-0. Unbelievable performance. This team is loaded for bear. They're ready to go win this thing again. All came back. But as soon as the bracket came out, I go, uh-oh, that's trouble. Now, it wasn't the first game. They played Jackson State, I believe. Jackson State go running up and down the court, making threes. All of a sudden, they're way behind. In fact, I remember this distinctly. Bianchi, he says, my column's already in. He said, I already wrote about it. I said, so then Jackson State's up like 31-18. And Bianchi goes, they're going to ruin my column. And I go, don't worry, they're going to be fine. They won like 120-68 or something. It was great. But the second game was against this guy, Carl Landry in Purdue. Rugged team that Florida sometimes struggled with. I'd seen them struggle with some teams. I'd been to LSU and they lost that game. It was a big surprise. I was worried about that game. And I started stressing out. I think this was the beginning of me stressing out too much about things. I was really stressing out. And I went into the bathroom to throw up. I was going to throw up before a basketball game. And I'm like, what is wrong with you, Pat? And I kind of shook it off and go, you're a journalist, bud. Let's go. You got work to do. Go cover the game. What? That's how I felt about these guys and how I felt about Billy. And Billy was, even afterwards, said, we lost this game. Everybody's going to go, yep, Billy's back to being Billy. And that would have bothered me. That's how much I cared about him. But I'm not supposed to. I was a journalist at the time. Bottom line is it was a tough, rugged game. Florida barely won. Al Horford made a couple of huge baskets. They just went to him at the end. I think they won by 6. And from that point on, they were never threatened. In fact, I'll never forget being at the getting dressed to go to the game, the championship game against Ohio State. And Karen goes, what's the matter with you? Again, I'm stressing out. I'm worried. I don't know if they're going to be able to pull this off. This guy, Greg Oden, is ridiculous. And they got all these shooters and everything. And she goes, Pat, do you think these guys came back to lose the last game they played? Don't worry. I said, you're right. They're not going to lose. I went to that game and just kind of put my feet up. I could still take notes. I go, Florida's winning. Don't worry. That's why I married her. That's why I'm still married to her. That's why we had her 60th birthday celebration over here. All right, that was kind of a longish story, and we may have gone a little long, but we're fine. All right, appreciate Jared for doing a great job. Appreciate Coach Spurrier. Appreciate Robbie. Appreciate Karen. Happy birthday, sweetheart. And appreciate everybody who listens or watches this show. I really appreciate it. You hear from a lot of them. I really love you guys staying with us and all of our great, wonderful advertisers. We may have some shifts coming up, and I'll tell you about what's going to be happening maybe on Friday's show. We will pull a winner for Leonardo's on Friday as well. Until then, I am Pat Dooley. I am deep. I am way back, and I am out of here.